Good day and welcome to another edition of Working for You. I am Les Roy Williams. Thank you very much for joining us for our program today. As usual, your company is appreciated from week to week. So thank you very much for being with us. Today we are going to be having a discussion on recycling. And we know how important that is. We continue to hear about the green economy, going green, and so on. And recycling is all a part of that. And so we'll be having quite a lively discussion today on recycling and the benefits of recycling and what we are trying to achieve here in the Federation with respect to cycling. I have in the studio with me persons from the Department of Environment, from the Solid Waste Management Corporation, and from the Taiwanese Mission. And I'll introduce them to you now. I have on my immediate right, Namayombo Monella. Yes, I think that's your surname. Yes. Monella, yes. So Marketing and Communications. Gonella. So it's Namayombo Gonella, who is Marketing and Communications Officer at the Solid Waste Management Corporation. I have Ms. Linnell Bonaparte. She is Conservation Officer, the Department of Environment, and Ms. Joyce Chang, who is the Project Coordinator on the recycling project, the Solid Waste Management Corporation. Welcome to all three of you.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, I want to start with a very simple question. What is recycling? Joyce.
Okay, it's a very good question. Actually, many people ask me this question, what is recycling? So actually recycling is, the idea is very simple. Actually, it's make the garbage, the waste, going to a process, manufacture process, and then make a new product, new material. So which is we can make all the material become a new material. So that is the recycling process.
Simple answer is that recycling is a process, from what I hear you saying, of converting waste material into new material.
Correct.
Or object. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I can give you everyone some example, like in your daily life, we can see like a plastic bottles, or maybe some glassy bottles, or like a package for the cardboard, papers, or maybe some cans, aluminum cans, or drinking cans. So all of that is easier to see in your daily garbage, which is all can be the recycling and go and get a new materials.
Right. So basically, it's waste material, and I have here with me. Right. I have with me Namayombo. Namayombo, you're representing the Solid Waste Management Corporation. Of course, we have waste that is there. We have a landfill. What is the Solid Waste Management Corporation's input into this recycling project? What do you bring to it?
The Solid Waste Management Corporation, what we bring to the project is that, first of all, we bring support for the Taiwanese mission, as well as, because it's an initiative that we fully endorse and fully support, we also provide at the landfill the facility in which the project will be able to be facilitated. So when the collection process for the recycling project takes place, all that waste is going to now be transferred to the facility at the landfill and then baled and shipped out.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So you play you're the collection agency,
As usual,
so
yes.
to speak.
Yes, indeed.
Because the waste goes to the
Landfill.
To the landfill. Right. Now, the recycling has many benefits. And one of the benefits is that of the environment. Linnell, you know it's you.
Yes. Okay, so this project, it is in keeping with the Sustainable Development Goals, and I can think about 7 that it is, well, that it supports, such as Goal 3 with good health, 6, clean water and sanitation, 11, sustainable cities, communities. The 4th one is Goal 12, responsible consumption and production. And the last 3 is climate change, life below water, and life on land. Currently, we have increased population. This is resulting in increased waste. And with increased waste, we have the big bad guy, plastics, being disposed improperly, right? So with the recycling project, it can help us to manage plastics, which is our #1 issue in the country. When I was here the last time, we would have spoken of the ban for the single-use plastic. So this project supports us with the ban, where we are wondering how can we phase out plastics. We have some alternatives, but we have not gotten there when it comes to the plastic bottles. Should we go back to glass bottles, which many companies do not want to go back to the glass bottles because it's heavy, so it increases the shipping costs and what's not. So with this project, recycling, it provides a solution. So when we ban single-use plastics, then we have a solution for the plastic bottles.
Right. And you mentioned, of course, and it has been a recurring decimal, how plastic pollution and plastic getting into our waterways and our oceans and so on, and really not just the pollution, but it's threatening ecosystems and wildlife. It's threatening ecosystems. So when we recycle, it simply means that cuts down on the number of plastics that can end up in our waterways and our ocean and so on, and lessen the disruption to the natural world.
Yes. And today's Ocean Day, so what a day to actually bring up this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Today's Ocean Day, and that is important because I'm sure that one of the focus is the pollution in terms of, you know, those microplastics and their threat to the marine life. You know, what are some of the other benefits? I know you mentioned that and you stressed on that, but for example, we have our trees, and I know that, you know, for paper and all of that sort of a thing. And Joyce.
Yeah, any other benefits? First, normally we're thinking about is actually it can reduce the pollution, right? Because we know our landfill is overloading, and we're trying to do recycle and reduce the loading on the landfill, of course. But any others, of course, too much. So as like I mentioned before, actually we use the garbage to become a new material, so which can help us saving the resource. So for example, like you mentioned the trees. So if we recycle the paper, actually it can become a new product, like a new paper. So new reused paper or some cardboard or something. So which is we can reduce to cutting the tree, right? And not only for that, but also energy, right? So when we transport our garbage, actually it also costs a lot of energy, right? And not only for that, so when we make a new product, actually we also create another economic, right? Right? Because I can show something like a example for you guys. Yeah, so. Yeah, so you can see these bottles. I don't want to show the logo, but the bottles. Actually, these bottles made by the waste plastic. See, so it can be a new, become a new product as well. And the forward, this is made by the waste paper. See, it's a new marketing. And also, this tissue, this is made by waste paper. So you see, actually, this product is already can turn back to our life by the, if we do a recycle, right? So that's why I want to bring out is actually it can help our economy as well. And also, not only that, but maybe close to us is actually increase job opportunity, right? Because we can have more industrial about that. Yeah, and more, I think more important for everyone is actually recycle is very easy, right? So, yeah, I can not say too much benefit for us, right? And what only we can do is just change a little bit your behavior in your daily life, right? So it can good for our environmental, good for our community, good for our society, and for our next generation.
Okay, so you mentioned quite a mouthful there in terms of recycling. And of course, I was mentioning, because you showed something with paper, if we recycle paper and all of that, it means then that we are cutting down less trees.
Yes.
Right? And if we're cutting down less trees, it simply means that we are helping the environment, because we know the benefits of trees.
Yes.
And trees, of course, give off oxygen.
Yes.
Right, and take in carbon dioxide. So more oxygen that there is in the atmosphere, the better for all of us to breathe.
Yeah. Correct.
And of course, trees too provide a lot of other benefits in terms of helping to reduce soil erosion. It holds the soil together. It acts as a habitat for wildlife and many animals and insects, and provide food.
Yes.
And all of that. So it means recycle and less trees being cut down.
Yes.
So that's another benefit. And Mama Yumbo, what is the benefit to the solid waste management corporation in terms of the landfill? Because I do know that there is some garbage that cannot be repurposed. Yes. Some of it cannot be repurposed, but some of it can. And we are talking about recycling and getting into recycling here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I know in some countries what happens in terms of waste collection. Waste collection, there is a sort of a separation taking place. Where do you put the things to be recycled and the things that can't be recycled and so on? So it makes it a lot easier for you at the landfill. What movement is there towards that in terms of the garbage? Because right now we have one garbage bin, the yellow ones that you see all around the island.
Yes. So currently, the Solid Waste Management Corporation, we collect from approximately 16,000 households per week. And so in terms of collection, right now what we do is we collect commingled waste. And so all of that waste is mixed up together. And where we want to get to is where we have waste separation. Now, unfortunately, our trucks cannot accommodate that at this time. However, we can start practicing in our households in terms of waste separation. Currently, and that is why we are fully endorsing this project and supporting this project, because although other types of waste will be separated later on, right now the focus is on plastics and cans. And so we are advising individuals to start practicing now. Take your cans, wash them, because you can't just bring in dirty cans, you can't bring in dirty bottles. And so we are now educating the public as to how to identify these recyclable items, what items can be facilitated by this recycling project. And so when it comes to us, we want to be able to ensure that we can facilitate. Now, this is not the first time Solid Waste has embarked on a recycling project or partnered with someone. I believe the project is going on about 4 years now with Enclave Resources. And to date, we have shipped out, I believe it's approximately 11.5 million tons of scrap metal and over 7,000 derelict vehicles from the island. And all of that is to ensure that not only do we create the longevity, because we need to ensure longevity of the landfill. We have limited space, and so ensuring that we can capitalize on that and ensuring that that can last us for much longer is vital to this whole initiative. And this initiative, of course, ensures that that can happen, because we're not just collecting that waste, the plastic, but we are compacting that and we are sending it off island. And so it's not going to be in the landfill. Mm-hmm. And that's very important.
So we are sending it off the island. We do not produce enough waste to have our own recycling plant. Is that why we are sending it off the island, Linnell? Joyce.
All right.
You think having our own, let me put the question differently. Do you think that we generate enough waste to have our own recycling plant here in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Good question. So actually I was analysis about that. And unfortunately, overall in St. Kitts and Nevis, our recyclable is not enough because we are a small island. If we want to have our recycling plant, probably we need to correct all Caribbean countries' recyclable import to St. Kitts, right? So for economic analysis, I don't think it is a good solution. So far, what do we do first? So we will correct all our recyclable, and we will barrel that and shipping to outside other countries. So they already have like recycle treatment plants. So it's more easier for us. And then for the future, we can looking for what kinds of material we can do recycling plants on site, but we need to see what kinds of material is more economic value and also easier for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Linnell, tell me a little bit about the Department of Environment's initiative, especially when it comes to the 3 R's. You know what those are?
Yes.
Reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Okay. So, can you repeat the question again?
Right. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. The Department of Environment's initiative and push, because, I mean, you are the department that is looking at policy, okay? The government department that is looking at policy when it comes to the environment.
Okay, so when it comes to the 3 R's, I know that solid waste will mostly push that, but I kind of stumbled a bit. But we will support it because our mission is to conserve, preserve, and protect. And once persons reduce, reuse, and recycle, then it assists us in fulfilling our mission. So we will support any initiative. Yes.
Joyce.
Yeah, maybe I can support for that part. So actually the 3R, the concept in the beginning decided about waste treatment. So you need to think about that. When you finish these things, okay, trying to reduce it as a waste. So which is mean, don't make it as a garbage, okay? So, but if it's become a garbage before, maybe you reuse it again. So you can have some DIY trying to change, some container you can use again, and again. But until it cannot reuse, think about that to sort it out for your garbage bin. So do the recycling. So, for all the waste concept is trying to reduce, no waste, reuse, continue use the material, and then make the material go recycling process. So which is help us to saving the resource, and protect the environmental.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Now, Joyce, what is the economic benefit to the country of this recycling project?
Ooh, very good question. Okay, so for economic, first I would like to say it will help, directly will help the landfill, because so far all the garbage go to the landfill, right? So it can saving the operation and also the land loading for sure. And also, of course, the pollution reduce, okay? But also in the future, we were trying to sell this recyclable to outside, so which we will get some income. But not too much, but at least a little bit income for us. So which is a good economic part. And also the other way is during this project, we would like to, for example, we will hire some employees, help us working on the recycling operation. And also we were trying to hold some activity and promotions to teach people how to do the recycling and change their behavior. So I also help, for economic parts is not only for recycle, but also trying to teach people how to do better for the environment. For example, maybe you know about, sorry. This and this, right? So xylophone is really bad material for our environment because this is too soft, and it cannot go into recycling process. So which is very bad for our environmental. So actually, what you asked some economic, I want to mention about that. So when I do recycling promotion, some people ask me, Joyce, can we try to use another material to replace this one? Because it's really bad for environmental, right? So I would like to mention in Taiwan, we will use a paper cardboard, to replace like this. So which will also increase another economic, different vendor to have another material to replace this one. Also for here, as you mentioned, we want to do plastic free, right? Trying to encourage people don't use a plastic bag. Actually, we also encourage people to use their own bag, right? So, which is also can help us increase another economic about, to maybe make some, your own bag, right? So, or some a shopping bag you had, right? So that is also you can increase another economic, because this is we really need in our future, right? Not only plastic bag, right? So that's why I want to touch more. Actually, I think this will be new marketing in Caribbean, should be, So not only previous I mentioned about the landfill, but also, another marketing. Yeah, so it's good for us.
Of course, I get your point in terms of the economy, saving energy, cutting down, of course, on all of these plastics that people have to import and so on. They can reuse, have reusable bags and so on. That is cuts down on the economic cost to supermarkets and things like that.
Just to add here, I think later on, cost benefit analysis will have to be done. So we know that this project is only 3 years. So we have funding for 3 years. And then after, will the government of St. Kitts and Nevis continue recycling? So we need to do a cost benefit analysis to see, okay, is recycling saving us the cost that we are currently spending to manage our waste? So this is important to know, to see how sustainable is the initiative. So that will be key, just to add to what you asked, Joy.
To me, the sustainability of the initiative far outweighs the economic benefit. I think we have to look at, of course, you're at the Department of Environment, and we have to look at the environmental benefits of the program, because destroying the environment, of course, is really not anything good in terms of our benefit, and can end up really having worse effects on our livelihoods than anything else.
Most definitely. There are certain initiatives that, of course, in everything we must look at the economic benefits and sort of weigh what we're going to do. But there are certain things that an initiative like this, when you look at the pros and cons, from us as solid waste, we will look at having to source another landfill when that one is filled up. Of course, that's going to be extremely costly. And not only that, who wants a landfill near exactly? And so persons, as individuals, as a collective, as national residents, all we want to ensure is that what we currently have, we can maximize on that. And recycling,
manage
exactly.
Management.
And recycling allows us to do that. It provides the avenue for us to be able to capitalize and increase the longevity of the landfill, which is vital.
Right, and in terms of, I know that you do burning at the landfill, how can it actually help to reduce the incineration that you have at the landfill?
Actually,
because then that too is an environmental hazard.
We do not burn at the
You don't?
landfill, not anymore. No, we haven't for quite some time now. We do not burn at the landfill. Yes, there have been fires that have taken place.
Combustible.
Yes, but we do not burn at the landfill. And how we do, basically in layman terms, is that we bury the waste, and so it's compacted and it's covered and so forth. But we no longer burn, because we have seen that it is not good for the environment, nor for not just the environment, but for individuals in the working environment, because we're very close to communities such as Connery, and we're close to communities over on the other side with persons coming on a daily basis to work. And so obviously that's impacting everyone in a negative way, and so we want to just ensure that that doesn't happen. And so burning was ceased quite some time ago in terms of the waste. We do not do that.
Okay, right. I asked that question specifically because there are people who think that you do, because sometimes when they see fire coming from the landfill, they think that there's some incineration, but it is naturally caused by combustible.
Yes. There are always fires underneath taking place, and of course I am no scientist to try and explain some of
The
these
heat
things.
and so on.
Yes, and that impacts, and so sometimes and that's why you should not, we do not allow individuals to just walk about the landfill. You should be guided by someone who knows the terrain, etc. And so it's risky taking a stroll at the landfill, so it's not encouraged by anyone. Yes.
The cost benefit, Joyce, because we are talking about the economy, and we can be talking about the circular economy. So in other words, we are talking about waste being reused, recycled. Okay, so in other words, waste is not seen as waste, but it is seen as a resource that definitely can be recycled and something that can be used so that it contributes to that circular economy. It's not thrown away, but it is recycled and it comes back and brings some sort of a, economic benefit to the country. So my thing is, this recycling project, what kind of jobs can it create?
Let me brief introduce about my project so you can have some idea of what kinds of job can increase. So actually this project here, we would like to build up the recycling system here. So which is, you need to think about, so start from your household garbage to the end to shipping to outside. So we would like to have set up a recycling point station to collect all the bottles or recyclables. And also we will transport it to the landfill, actually recycle facilities, yeah. And then we will sort it out and barrel that and shipping to outside. So all the recycling operation, we need technician and operate help. So what kinds of job will increase? Yeah, for sure, we need to transport the recyclable, so we need a driver, right? So we also need to operate the barrel or the recyclable, so we need an operator. But of course, we need to have a person help us to do more like a recycling promotion, you know, teach people how to do recycle. So we also will have technician to help us deliver recycle promotion, the knowledge, you know, education part. So yeah, so we will have the operator and also technician job opportunity.
So what kind of incentives will this project offer to people to get them to become involved in this recycling project? In other words, to influence them, to persuade them, to get that buy-in into this program, to help them to see that this recycling program is actually beneficial to them in some way?
Yeah, it's a very good question, because first we need to let everyone know what is recycle and why we do recycle here, right? So at least they know about, okay, we should do something help St. Kitts and the Nevis. So for how we deliver that message to all of them, we're trying to use some like a big event. So for example, previous we use the open date or some food fair, or maybe later we also will work with the tourism like music festival. So we would like to use some big event, you know, trying to face-to-face talk to people what is recycle and how to do recycle. So they will have some, you know, awareness, have some idea. And of course, we will work with the education, you know, so education department. So we will reach into like the school, or like previous, we also go to church, yeah. So, so in the future, we will, you know, trying to reach more community, village. We're trying to share with them, you know, what is recycle and how to do recycle, and trying to convenient with them. So let them know do recycle is really good for environmental. And you know how, when I meet with people before, how many people talk to me, Joyce, we really needed this. You took very good job. We really need it. We can't wait it happen, right? So when they talk to me, I feel actually people know that. They're just waiting for it become true, right? So that's why we hope we can, like today we have this opportunity to deliver the message to more people, tell people how to do recycle, and we will also use some events, continue to recycle promotion and work with school, you know, our community center, trying to deliver our recycle concept to them, yeah, and encourage people join with us.
I think you've mentioned a very good point, because you have to get the community involvement, people in the community. And if people in the community can come together, we can bring the community together to understand, to educate the community about the importance of recycling and the benefits to them, especially to the environment.
Yes.
Of course, then that can redound to cleaner communities.
Yes.
You know, a cleaner community, and people taking pride in their communities and their environment. I think that is a big plus. I think that can come from this this project.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, go ahead.
And once persons understand that even prior to the stage of recycling, there is the reusing and so forth, and Joyce spoke extensively on that. And then it's something that we always try to educate individuals about, repurposing some of these items. We have sort of lost touch with what our parents and grandparents used to do. One, you know, that dress turned into a rag, turned into this, turned into that. That was repurposing, and so it was already practice. It's knowledge that's already within us, and it's things that we can go back to some extent. And so when you see an item, don't look at that item as just what it was made for initially. Look at it and see, how can I utilize this a little bit more? What can I do with this? How can I be creative with it? And of course, that can also stimulate the economy in terms of business. So persons we see on Pinterest, some of us live on YouTube watching DIY projects. You go on Pinterest and you see all of these things, and you want to know, can I do that? Yes, you can. And you can possibly even have a flourishing business with it, or just help your community, your neighbor, or your household by just being creative, having an imagination, and just trying something. Yes, it might fail, but it might also work. Who knows?
In terms of the consumer, I have gone to the supermarket and seen items that, you know, of course, it tells you that this paper has been recycled. And I think that sometimes if we are conscious and we tend to gravitate towards products like that use recycled material, then we are building also a consciousness and cutting down on, you know, and sometimes they tell you that when you buy this product, it's used from recycled material, you're contributing towards helping the community.
Focus so much on so many R's, and there are more R's than the 3 R's. So you have reduce, repurpose, you know, so in terms of the thought process, you want to first start by reducing what you actually bring in. So you want to reduce the amount of plastic. So when we shop on Amazon, on Shein, or wherever, you want to try and consolidate those shipments so that you're not bringing in as much plastic initially. When you go to shop, possibly if you can afford to, shop in bulk so that you're reducing the amount of plastic you're bringing into the household. And then that plastic that you do bring in, can you repurpose that? Can you reuse that? So that then reduces again what ends up at the landfill. And then you say, okay, this now has to go to the landfill. Now this is what we take. But you've already cut down so much by just thinking about it and just ensuring that you're reducing the amount that you actually consume as a consumer.
Lynelle, you wanted to say something earlier.
Yes, so this project by behavioral change, we as citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, we can now think in a way to protect our environment by reusing, as Nama said, as well as joining this recycling initiative. So the Department of Environment, we do support it. What I was saying earlier about the cost-benefit analysis, it is needed so that we can know the benefits and then the cons. So when we address the government that this is the direction where we want to go, that they understand these are all of the benefits and let us work towards it.
Okay, so we are looking at the environmental benefit, we are looking at the economic benefit. What other benefit can we think of? We are talking in terms of a green economy.
Well, there are social benefits.
And then the social benefits as well.
Because we have the health benefits.
The health benefits.
When we have plastics and we can't dispose of them properly, then we breed mosquitoes, pests, and those things, so we have diseases. So it protects us. So there are social benefits to it.
Right. So there's social, environmental, we talk about economic, we talk about health, and all of that. There are a lot of benefits because we are talking about a green economy and actually going green. Now, Joyce, what are some of the recyclable items?
Good question. So actually this project started from last July, and we already do some preparation, and now we start to do recycling. Actually start from this month, but we want to more simple in the beginning. So first we encourage people to do recycle, to bring the recyclable for us. Have two items. One is plastic, which is about like a plastic bottles or like a plastic container. So here I show some example for people. So like these detergent bottles, yeah, we can recycle this one. Or this, you probably easy to see, right? Like a juice bottles or like a drinking water bottles. Yeah, this is very often to see. And yeah, some like the container, right? The food container. Yeah, this is all we can recycle. Okay. Sorry, it's a little bit messy. But also, yeah, this is the cup. All it can be recycled. But you know, many people ask me, all the plastic can be recycled? Actually, no. So let me show you some example. All right, so like I mentioned before, the xylophone. Actually, this is plastic material, but because the material is too soft, so when it cannot go into a recycling process because it cannot make a new material. Okay, that is why a lot of countries they already have a regulation don't allow to use this anymore. Okay, so here I also would like to use this opportunity to tell people when you go to a restaurant, you know, try and carry your own box to carry the food. And if you have this egg box, you know, how you can do, as I know in St. Kitts Nevis, you can, if it's clean, actually you can reuse that. So you can send this to chicken farm and they will clean that and they will reuse it to put a new egg inside. So I think that is very good behavior. At least we don't, you know, produce the garbage. All right, and not only that, so here we have some, you know, you can see this is a shopping bag, right? The plastic bag, and this is some like a good some package, you know, plastic package. So all of this, you can see it's quite very soft, so it cannot recycle. So unfortunately, all this stuff will go to the landfill to disposal. And that's why we also encourage people when you go shopping, trying to use your own bag. Yeah, don't create more garbage. All right, so some people will ask me, oh, too hard to remember. I just give you some hint. So if you really doesn't know how to recycle, you're trying to check. Actually, recycle for the plastic, they have a triangle logo. So which they will be in the bottles. So I'm not sure can camera to see that, but they have a triangle. So every, like the bottles, they have a triangle logo on the bottles. So if they have a triangle logo, which is mean it can be recycled. So it's easier for people to recognize. But most of the bottles or container, yes, it can be recycled for sure. Okay, last is the plastic part. And for the second part, yes, let me hold that. Yes, so the second part is about metal cans. So it can be aluminum cans and also like a food tin cans. So here I would like to tell you all these cans we can recycle it, okay? But so for the cans doesn't have any special requirement. We all can recycle for that. But for all the recyclable, before you bring for us, here have some hint I want to tell for you. So first, trying to make sure it's dry, so nothing inside, okay? And wash it so we cannot make a second pollution. So wash that, and once it's dry, trying to make a small size, compress that. Yeah, and even the aluminum cans. So you can reduce the volume space. Then you sort it in different recycling bin. Then you can bring that for us. So here is 2 items for recyclable.
And we have aluminum cans, tin cans.
Oh, no, let me.
Sorry, I didn't say paper yet, but
Yes.
you have plastic, and you have aluminum
metal
cans
cans
and tin cans. But I wanted to ask a question, and I got all. In terms of paper and cardboard, are you recycling that as well?
Okay, so in the project beginning, we don't recycle for that. Okay, but maybe next year or later, we will see any demand. We will probably increase like a paper cardboard or like a glass bottle, something like that.
Glass bottle.
Yes. So we first focus on plastic and the metal cans, and then later maybe we will increase and the other 2 items as well.
Yeah, some glass bottles are already being recycled. What I mean by that is that, of course, they're returnable.
Yes, that is
so they return to the bottling company.
Yes.
Or the brewery. And then they are washed and so on, and we use.
That's what we call reuse.
Yes.
Trying to, not make it as waste. Yeah. I think last you did very well here because you're trying to reuse the glass bottles.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know that sometimes we are recycling, but we don't use the term recycling. For example, biodegradable material. I'm sure a lot of that comes to the landfill sometimes. Even sometimes when from animals, we have the cattle dung and things like that, and we use it as fertilizer. That is also recycling because you're taking waste and using it for something productive. Or scraps of food and things like that that can, composting and so on. That too, I think, is a form of recycling, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's seen as a form of recycling.
Yeah, I think that's also another opportunity because in many countries they also correct that as a recycling item. So it can be like a food for pig or some animal, or they can make I don't know how to say it. So it can be make a new product to plant a tree. Yeah, composting, right? Yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay, Nama, what can be done in terms of the landfill and electronic items that people no longer use coming to the landfill what we call, for example, e-waste, e-waste, and they pose a hazard. Old computers and things like that.
Yes. So
They have batteries and in them.
yes. So we first of all, of course, persons should familiarize themselves with the Act, the Solid Waste Management Corporation Act, because there are fines to disposing of certain things improperly. If you're the landfill is the only place you're supposed to dispose of pretty much anything, and so, of course, we contend and we try to, for lack of a better word, we fight hard with the illegal dumping situation that takes place in the nation. Yes, when others come in, they say, "Oh my goodness, you know, the country is so clean and you guys have it down pat." But really and truly, we still have an issue when it comes to illegal dumping, especially of what we would determine as white goods. Now, the previous, well, it's still ongoing project in which where we were compacting and crushing that metal waste did help to clear up quite a lot of space at the landfill. And so one of the things I would encourage individuals is to ensure that when you give someone your waste to dispose for you, especially e-waste and white goods, ensure that you receive a receipt, because that person has to come to the landfill. When they get there, it's weighed and they are charged. So unless you see that ticket, I don't know if you can withhold payment, but ensure you get that ticket, because when we look at the evidence and your name is on it, we are going to be charging you. And so ensure that you get the evidence that, well, it wasn't you, and when you are asked, please do tell us who you hired. So that is something that, of course, we're producing a lot more of. Technology is on the rise. We don't see that stopping anytime soon. And so all that we can do is ensure that persons dispose of it at the landfill so that we can treat it how it ought to be treated, and so it does not become a hazard to anyone's health. Because, of course, some of these chemicals and toxins that exist in these objects can be quite lethal to our health and the environment as well. And remember, at the end of the day, if that is dumped into the guts, it ends up in the ocean, the marine life, which we also still consume, so it affects us. If we dispose of that on land, of course, the soil, again, once again, it affects us. So even if we want to be selfish about it and say it's about me, then that's fine. You still have to do the right thing because it's still about you. It comes back to you. So, yes.
Right. We are going to go to the phone lines with the time that we have left. And the numbers to call are 466-2666, 466-2666, 662-8674, 662-8674, 767-4765, 767-4765, and 1-239-645-4500. 1-239-645-4500. We welcome your calls. Right. So what are some of the ways to help in recycling? What sort of an appeal can you make to the community in terms of helping in recycling? I know this is a community project, and you really want the community to help in recycling. Now, everything is not for money. So we are talking here in terms of volunteerism. People volunteering to actually bring their bottles and their all of that and so on. Linnell.
Yes, so before I answer that question, on Saturday, we are going to Nevis to encourage the Nevisians to come on out. It is by Delta, right? So come out and bring their recyclables. Bring their cans and plastic bottles. So we are hoping by this drive that it starts to get people familiar and start to encourage them to make it a habit to collect their, save up their plastic bottles and what's not. So there are incentives to encourage that behavior, and hopefully persons see it as fun and join and volunteer, as you said. So that is just what we are doing in part with the Department of Environment, partnering with the Taiwanese Mission and Solid Waste Management. So we're just encouraging persons as much as possible. Right now there are incentives, and we're just hoping that after this project ends, it becomes a part of us, where persons, they are not dependent on an incentive, but we just see the importance of it, as we would have stated, of all of the benefits. There are environmental benefits, economic benefits, social benefits, that persons see it as valuable to our country, and that they join and volunteer.
I would just like to add, one of the things is that for us as a federation, the recycling movement is not an underground movement. It is something that has been advocated for, and it's something that has a lot of persons involved in it. So you have different groups, and you have young groups in terms of high school groups in terms of environmental projects, and then you have environmental clubs, and then you have groups such as Clean St. Kitts and Clean Seas, who have always been a part of this initiative. And then all of us here on the panel are part of the SDC, and of course we always push for recycling with Plastic Free July coming up. So it's not an underground movement. We have the voices, we have the quote-unquote manpower. It's just for us to ensure that we have a project that can facilitate that, and this project facilitates that. This project culminates all of these things, and we now have a space where we can, on certain days, have our waste, plastic waste and can waste collected and disposed of properly at the landfill, bailed out and shipped off the island. And so it's just, the communities are ready, the groups are ready, people are ready. It's just for us to do what we need to do.
Right. I go back to that question, Nama. You want your work at solid waste to be easier. It simply means then that each household must become conscious of those things that can be recycled and separate them, so that it makes your work easier at the landfill. Yes. Because when everything is put together, that which can be repurposed and that which cannot be repurposed, then when it comes to the landfill, then you have to get people to separate it. That if it's separated, by the household, it makes your work easier. So my thing is, what are you going to do about that?
Okay, so what we are going to do with what we are doing is that right now we cannot obviously change out the entire fleet that we have. And so what we're going to have to do is we're working out the logistics of having to do multiple day collection. And so we will come on different days to the different communities to collect the different types of waste. But currently that's not being quote unquote initiated as yet, because persons are now going to be having that waste collected at the 3 different points in St. Kitts, and then they have several points in Nevis as well.
Yeah, but in terms of the waste collection, are you going to put certain bins in the community that says recyclable, non-recyclable, so that people can understand that, look, this is where I put my plastics, this is where I put my tins, and the rest of the garbage I put somewhere else? That is what I'm asking. Is the corporation going to get certain waste bins that people can put in the communities, their recyclable stuff?
That has always been something that the corporation definitely wants to initiate. And at first we needed to ensure that everyone has a bin, because previously everyone did not have a garbage bin. And so that was the first phase, of course, of ensuring that everyone within the community has a bin. And then we move now into waste separation. And of course, we'll have to find a way to, in order to be able to facilitate that. Now,
it may not be that, sorry to cut you off, but it may not be that everyone has 2 bins, but you have these big bins in the community where people can actually go and put their recyclable stuff.
Right, and so that is what is taking place.
You have the community bins. They don't have to put them in their personal
right, and that
bins.
is what's taking place currently with this project, in which the bins are going to be placed in different communities and individuals. Unfortunately, at this time, we are not able to put the bins in every community. However, there will be bins in Buckley's, in Connery, and in Dieppe Bay. And so individuals then can go and put their recyclables there and leave their commingled waste at home for solid waste to come and collect on a weekly basis.
Because it makes your work at the solid waste easier.
Just a little bit.
Joyce.
Yeah, I would like to mention a little bit about that, because your question is very good. So first, you mentioned about the sort out the waste. So in the beginning, I'm here, I feel not everyone really notice what is recycled. So if you in the public set the recycle bin, probably in the end, all the bin just garbage, right? It's easy to see that. So that's why in the beginning for this project, we would like to, in the public location, so far we already set up 7 points in the St. Kitts and Nevis. So in this 7 locations, we will set up the tent, and we encourage people to bring your recyclable for us, which is we also have a manpower setting layer. So when you bring a recyclable for us, we will checking is correct or not. So we can face-to-face education for peoples. And then during that moment, we can sort all the garbage out. So it will be plastic, okay, and this will be aluminum can, this will be tin can, so we can sort out. And also, in the future, that is a next step. We would like to work, once people have more awareness, so we would like to work with the community center or some village, so we can set up, or maybe like a restaurant or hotel, some public location. We would like to set up recycling bin. So the bin have the owner with the location owner, and also which is people already have some awareness how to sort this out. That will be next step. And also one thing I want to mention about, so it's beginning for this project, actually it's very hard to tell people to change their behavior, right? Because it's very hard just one day and okay, I want to do recycle, right? So that's why in the project in the beginning, we would like to use some reward. So encourage people, if you do recycle, actually we can give you some gift. So reward you, encourage you to join with us. So here we decide actually is when you bring the recyclable for us, the bottles or cans, 1 pound, you can get 1 point. So we decided here have about a reward card. So everyone can have this reward card, and 1 pound you can get 1 point. So if you have more point, then you can start, correct that. And if you have more point, then you can exchange some gift. So for example, like this bag, shopping bag, is also, if you got 20 points, you can have this one. Yeah.
We have a caller. Working for you, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lesroy and company.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you doing?
Very well. I haven't heard your voice in a while.
Yeah, but I'm listening.
Okay, good.
Now, I heard you made a suggestion. And even though some people don't like us to refer to the bigger international countries, we have to learn from those who know more than us. And where I lived in America, in Miami, let me use Miami closest to here. When you live in certain housing community where they collect the waste, garbage, they have 2 bins. One marked recyclable and the other one is ordinary garbage. So when you go to the bin, you say, okay, these 2 bottles for this bin and these papers are plastic over here for that one. In every way that you have laws, people will break the laws. But at least when those bins go to the solid waste, the workers out there would not have that much work to do to sort out the recyclable ones from the other non-recyclable ones. So, Leslie, your suggestion is well understood and well taken. Now, I would suggest to solid waste, everything costs money. And we have a lot of countries out there willing to work with little small islands that we have around here. So why not get one of those countries up there who have a lot of things to help the smaller countries, to help us with those little small bins that the residents could have in their yard, just like the yellow ones that we have. They wouldn't mind helping us to give us a couple of bins that we could make the work easier for everybody, because when we got to throw everything mixed up and they get where they go in the sea, it affects the whole world. That's my suggestion I have. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you very much for your suggestion. Sometimes it is true that we can get some help and so on, but we start where we are. We start small. The most important thing is we start with the education of the community, educating them in terms of the importance of recycling, and we put certain initiatives in place, and incrementally we move forward. And I think that, today's program is one such program that offers information and, in terms of educating people in terms of what is recycling, the benefits of recycling, and so on.
The education aspect is very important, and basically, I recall a few years ago we did a cleanup campaign, and we, with all good intentions, thought, hey, let's do waste separation and have persons dispose of this type of waste in one bin and this type of waste in another bin. These bins were marked, and, well, we thought they were adequately identified. And persons still disposed of whatever in every bin. Eventually, we had to scrap it and just say, okay, fine, just dispose of everything. Education is very important. That behavioral change needs to come first. Or else what we're going to have is a situation where the waste that's collected, because let's say, for example, I collect by you, Lesroy,
yes,
and your waste is clean properly, because that's what's required as well. You have to wash it out, dry it,
yes,
and so forth. And then you come and you collect from me, and my waste is not as it ought to be. When that waste is mixed in that truck, it means your waste now is contaminated. So that entire batch of collection is contaminated. That's going to cost. And so we need to look at all of that. And so the focus is on behavioral change while we try to do that practical within these communities that we're doing right now.
Yes, and I've noticed that even this year, for Child Month, Child Month this year is really focusing on recycling.
Yes.
I don't exactly remember the theme. Yes, the theme is recycle, save the earth for our children's future. And so that to me is good, because, I mean, we have to start with the very, very young ones.
Yes.
And think in terms of the generations to come. And that whole aspect of, you mentioned, Linnell, the whole sustainable development, the sustainable development goals, and the sustainability of our planet. And get that into the minds of our very young children. Because what we are doing now is creating a better world for them.
Yes.
A world that is healthier, the environment healthier, and so on, creating a better place for them. And sometimes it doesn't have to be any big project. Each person can start very, very small. I once read something in terms of the dirty truth about our trash. And the dirty truth about our trash is that our trash can become treasure. And that is the dirty truth about our trash, is that our trash can really be turned into treasure. And then somebody else once said to me at one time that, you know, you can tell a lot about a person by their garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So when we really think that, oh, it's just my garbage, it's just my waste. If somebody have to go through your garbage and go through your waste, they will come up with a lot of things about you.
Yes.
You know? So.
Isn't that what private detectives do?
Yes.
Yes. They go through your waste and they find a lot of information. Because there is a lot of information in there and there's a lot of treasure. And information is, you know, important. And so what we dispose, sometimes we need to examine ourselves. What are we disposing? Is it even important to dispose of that at that time? Can I reuse it? Can I repurpose it? That kind of thing. And so we need to look at all of that. And it starts with introspection.
Yes.
It starts with you. You need to start to analyze yourself and you need to look within yourself and see what changes you need to make as an individual that can impact this whole entire movement and initiative.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the competition. You have a competition, Joyce. Tell us about the competition.
Yeah, so actually I would like to share with everyone this is happy news, I should say. So last Saturday, okay, we have a recycle competition. So total we set up maybe 3 hours in the Newtown playfield, and we have 26 contributions. So we have 26 people join with this activity, bring their bottles for us. And guess how many we collect the recyclable? It's almost 450 pounds. You can imagine how much. So it's only 3 hours, but we collect a lot of garbage. And most is a plastic bottle for sure. So yeah, so this is just beginning first correction for recyclable, and we design a competition to encourage people to let them know, okay, we start to do recycle. And also for top 10 person, we have some winner we can, you know, give them some prize as a reward. So we would like to use this event to reach more people. That's why, you know, environmental department mentioned before, actually this Saturday, we will go to Nevis and Delta Petrol. We will be there, same, you know, morning 9 a.m. to 12 noon, and just encourage people in Nevis, bring your recyclable for us, and same competitions. Yeah, so we will prepare some like gift, for example, like the bottles, or, you know, some bag, or, you know, recycling bag. So yeah, so we would like to encourage people to join with us. And many people ask me, Joyce, once this competition finish, is end? The recycle is end? I said, no, we will.
Joyce, we're going to stick it a pin right there. We have a caller.
Okay.
Working for you, good afternoon.
That's right.
Yes, good day. Go again.
Oh man, he come like you're talking from experience. You went in the garbage to search to see what I throw away.
No, I'm not a garbage collector, sir.
Okay. I have what's called a suggestion, and I mentioned it maybe over 2 years ago. There is a country in the Western Hemisphere. You know what it does with these plastic shopping bags? They mulch them so fine, and they mix them with the asphalt that they pave roads and walkways with. So instead of have them banging about and going in the sea and stifling turtles and other fish, they recycle them, put them to use, and they mix them with the asphalt, and it helps to hold the asphalt together when they pave the road with it. So I don't know if anybody take up that when I mentioned it, but I'm saying it again. That can be used. Just y'all got to do mulch it so fine that you wouldn't detect it between the asphalt when they pave it on the road. So I hope they take up that. And you all have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you for your,
Yeah, okay.
your contribution. Yes, Joyce, you can continue.
Okay, so yeah, once we finish the competition, many people ask me, do we continue to recycle or just this event? I said, no. Actually, this just start and we continue to recycle for sure. So let's echo to my previous, I want to share with everyone. Actually, in St. Kitts and Nevis, we set up 7 public locations. And we will set up the tent later, and we have a manpower support later. So you can bring your recyclable plastic bottle and the metal cans for us. And here I would like to share with you the location and the schedule so people can know where it is, okay? So in St. Kitts, you know, we were in 3 locations. So for currently, which is nearby the airport, the roundabout, beside the bus stop. So it will be every second and the 4th week for the Tuesday. And for 1st and 3rd Tuesday, we will in Buckley's, which is in front of Best Buy in the downtown. And every month, last Saturday, we will be the Dale Bay towns. So for these three locations, we will be there around 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we were sitting there for a whole day. So we encourage people, every Tuesday, you can come to Basseterre and do recycle. And also one time, we will be the Dale Bay town. And that is for St. Kitts. In Nevis, we set up 4 locations. But Nevis frequency will be every 2 Fridays. So, which is we will be the Delta Petrolman gas stations, and also as Petrolman in camps, and also Big 6 in Gingerland, and also one old artisan village in Charlestown. So for Nevis, like I mentioned before, this Saturday we will have a competitions in Delta Petrolman gas station. And also the next time will be June 24th, also Friday. Mm-hmm. We will be old artisan village. So we will be a different location and the same frequency. Okay, so many people will ask me, Joyce, it's hard to remember different location, different time, right?
So where can they find that information?
Yes, good question. So actually we have a website, and which is in the Facebook. The name is Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis. So we will publish the recycling schedule here, and every week we will remind you to recycle in which location, so you can have some alarm reminder. And also during this website, we also will publish all our rewards. So like I mentioned before, we have some prize for competition, but also continue 1 pound, you can change 1 point. And you have more points, then you can exchange some gifts. So something people probably interesting, like these bottles. I think everyone looks like very excited to want to get these bottles. And also, this is a set for, the fork and spoon and, chopsticks. So all for the eating tools. This is also, we would like to encourage people when you go restaurant, trying to bring your own stuff, right? Not use plastic fork or spoon. Yeah. So it's one of our prize for the recycling program, and we would like to use this opportunity to share people trying to bring your recyclable for us, and we prepare a lot for you.
Okay, thank you. We are going to have to leave it here for today. We're really out of time.
Oh.
And so I know there's a lot more that we can say, but we have to go. But I just want to let the public know that they can go to the Facebook page, Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's Recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's a non-profit organization. You can go to that Facebook page, and there you will find more information. You can follow the page, and you can like the page, So let's recycle in St. Kitts and Nevis. I want to thank all three of you for coming today. Namayombo Gonella, I think I got it right this time, and Linnell Bonaparte and Joyce Chang. Thank you to all three of you for coming and sharing today on such an important project, that of recycling. So many benefits to it. We heard about the environmental benefit, we heard about the economic benefit, we heard about the social benefit that to the community, we heard about the health benefit, and there are so many other benefits to recycling. We live in a green world now, and everything is in terms of the green economy, how much we can cut down on greenhouse gas emissions and save our planet by really conserving the environment and protecting the environment. Thank you so much to all of our listeners to today's program, and thank you to our lone caller today, who is always faithful to this program and makes very valuable contribution. Thank you very much. Next week we will be back with another Working for You program. Until then, I am Les Roy Williams. Take good care.